Hello, this is Greg from SharePoint Maven, and in today's video I would like to explain to you how you can set unique permissions for a document library on a SharePoint site. So here's a scenario for you. Let's say you have a SharePoint site, just like I have one over here, and let's say you have multiple document libraries, all right, with different files and folders on each, and you want to restrict access to a specific library on a SharePoint site. All right, so you only want select few people to have access to a particular library on a SharePoint site, not the whole team. So in my case, I have a team site. It happens to be a site connected to Office 365 groups. Could be a regular site, doesn't really matter. So let's see, I am the owner of the site. I'm the owner of the group. Mary and John are team members. And on my site, I have a few document libraries. So here is one. Here is my one document library with a bunch of files and folders. Here is another one. All right, and you can have as many as you want, of course. And let's just say I want this library to be restricted. So I only want this library to be accessible by few team members, essentially just by me and Mary. Let's just say me and Mary should have access to this library. John should not even know about this, all right? So John should not have access to this library at all. How do we make it happen? Let me explain. Look, by default, security is inherited in SharePoint. What that means is that whatever security was set up at the site level, all right, it kind of propagates down all the way to libraries, lists, whatever you have on your SharePoint site. So in my case, I'm the owner. I'm here. John and Mary, they're members. They're over here. And because this is an Office 365 group, this is what you get to see, all right? And essentially, obviously, this is the same security that is propagated down to the same permissions propagated down to each and every component on my site, this library included. So what we need to do, we need to break that inheritance. All right, here's how to do it. We need to navigate to the document library over here. All right, and then we click gear icon, library settings. So we need to go behind the scenes. And over here in the middle, you will see permissions for this document library. Let's click. And you're going to see a few things. First of all, you're going to see these three groups. These are the same three security groups I showed you previously. Owners, I'm here. John and Mary over here. And my site doesn't happen to have any visitors, so it's empty. And then it also tells me over here, this library inherits permissions from the parent, my parent being my site, all right? So we need to break that inheritance first. All right, so what we're going to do, just to explain to you before I do that, we're going to break the inheritance between my library and a SharePoint site. And once the inheritance is broken, I'm going to customize the access to the library and eliminate, John and Mary, and then add Mary back. All right, so let's do step number one. I'm going to break the link, break the inheritance over here, stop inheritance permissions. We get a warning message. Yes, here we go. So now look at this. It says this library has unique permissions. All right, so now we can tweak it. Now we couldn't before, now we can tweak it. All right, so remember, John and Mary are over here. All right, now I don't want John to see it. So what we need to do, unfortunately, right, we need to remove this group because John and Mary are in this group. So I'm going to click the checkbox and say remove. Here we go. Perfect. All right, and look at this. I'm still here, so I still have access, but now Mary lost access, right? So we need to add Mary back. And what we can do here is grant permissions. Here we go. And then I'm going to add Mary back. So I remove the group that contains everyone and then add individuals I want to add. Here we go. And then under show options, this is the permission level I want to give back to Mary. We can actually specify maybe just read only, but in this case, let's leave it alone. Mary will have the added access to the library. So here we go. She has been added. Let me refresh the screen so you can see what we just did. Here we go. Look at this. I still have access. I'm here. Mary has access. John does not, because remember, John was part of this members group. All right. So that's pretty much it. Now, if you want to, check what you kind of did and be rest assured that what you did was correct, we have this nice check permissions button. And let's just double check. So if I type in Mary, Mary should have access, right? Here we go. Perfect. So you see, she does. All right, she does because it had been given directly. And then if I type in John, I should not. Here we go. Essentially, yeah, he has limited access. What that means, by the way, right, is that probably individuals, files and folders have been shared with John, previously. But essentially, if you notice, John does not have edit permission to this library at all. All right. So he pretty much just lost access. And if John was to, if Mary obviously logs in to the site, then Mary will get to see, obviously the library. If John logs into the site, then John will not even see the link, or will not find this library at all. It will be invisible to him. Right. So that's all I wanted to show you today. Hopefully you learned something new. As always, happy to see you on my blog, sharepointmaven.com, and my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.